Hello people, it's Power here to review the PowerRider DX Build Genius form Ridewatch. So, this is the this is the thing they started to do after they released all of the main riders. So starting in quarter 2, they decided to release all the ultimate forms. Because why not? So as you can see here, they're still in the normal typical Ridewatch box, but package I meant, but obviously there are things that are different. Obviously, instead of a illustration of what the armor would have looked like, it's actually just the rider itself, similar to Grease. And then if you can tell here, that this corner part is actually what signifies that this is a power-up thing. If I can pull one off, this will take a while. That's not a box. I'm pulling Grand Geo, but so as you can see here, they'll have like stuff at the corner, so that's what signifies it, that it's a power up. Mostly, I apologize for all this stuff. I'm eyeing all of this. I should have just pulled this one out, but Geo 2. Now, like the Decade Ridewatch doesn't have this, obviously, because Decade is it's not, while it is a quote unquote power up, it's Decade itself. So I apologize for going so over into that. Obviously, armor time. Obviously, another picture of Build Genius, 80 2017. Obviously, because it's still from the same line or same series, and then obviously you just get typical stuff. So let's get into the Ridewatch right away. I apologize, it's literally been a while since I actually reviewed a DX Ridewatch, but anyway, so here's the Build Genius form Ridewatch, as it's mainly called, and it's one thing you're gonna tell from most of these is that the secondary color, they're mostly going to be translucent and they're going to be injected with glitter, so that's what signifies these differently. As you can see from the front, it builds rider symbol still there, 2017. The base is just pure white. QR code for Butaba Gamba, and then the track here is 100 exactly, which is neat. And then obviously, button, we twist the face, we get Build Genius, which I will admit it still looks alright, but it's probably one of the worst ones. I don't know why I just did it like that. Then obviously just compare, here's Build. Obviously vastly different, besides even the battery cover is actually different, because as you can tell, this is more like the symbols and numbers are more in like white and blue. This one's actually just like more glowing in like yellow and gold. And then obviously the whole point of these is that they have different tracks. So, and one thing I actually do want to point out too is that as you can see, the outer rim is just straight up gold. It's not personalized. So if I can just dig out the most obvious one, Geo 2. As you can see, another thing that signifies these as power-ups is the fact the rims are gold. So I think that's pretty neat too. So obviously I should show you guys the battery cover. Like what I said before, or like what I stated, these are more like yellow goldish, so I like that. That's different. And let's proceed to the sounds. It doesn't announce Genius form, it's just Genius. So obviously we get the description. I don't recall ever covering a DX form Ridewatch, but I probably don't have any of them, but it depends on when this week is actually getting uploaded. But basically, for the DX ones, for the DX form Ridewatches, the description is just, oh yeah, we had the Geos, but basically for the power-ups, they don't have the ticking sound. So like for any form, I don't remember if I stated this in Geo 2. If I did, I apologize. But basically, basically what they did with the descriptions with the forms is that, like, because they're not unique, I guess, and because it will kind of break the flow, I believe, the ticking is like gone. So that's why these ones are more closer to their Gashapon Kamen toy counterparts. And yeah. So obviously we're gonna just for these videos we're just gonna use the base Geo and Gates Ridewatches, because I would go with Geo 2 because it, in my opinion, it works a lot better, but you know, the flow of the transmissions aren't gonna work as well. So yeah. As you can see, the LEDs are actually the rainbow ones. So the thing with the final forms is that, first of all, they get their own unique screen. So as you saw Genius scroll down twice and then attempting to go a third time, but then it gets cut off by Finn, which is obviously final. But what the transformation jingles is that they're actually more lyrical, in that, like, they're not just, they didn't just make a melody for that, like, specific form and then slap in Genius and then sing out Genius. They actually like had like something to say about Genius, then they cut to like the sound from what it came from. So I think it's unique. But then I would like consistency, but they're the ultimate forms, so, but they still function the same thing. So let's do the time break. So we get the Genius time break. Obviously, Genius coming from the Genius finish, or just Genius in its multiple finishers. Obviously, it's DX, so we can put it on the right side. And obviously, these go out longer than what the screen has. And obviously, the LED here is pink, like Geo's pink. Probably just because that's the generic color for whenever when it's programmed to like use all 7 LEDs. But let's go with our weapon. Okay, so we're going to use the G-Con Axe, the G-Con Claw, for, like what I stated in its review, this is our new thing, so I dropped the Ridewatch. Okay, so like technically, I'm just gonna take it out. So technically, its weapon functionality is still the same as this because it still is build, and that's the thing they do keep consistent throughout the form ride watches, so I don't really mind it. Last but not least, even though it's a different track, it still reads as build. So overall, the Genius, or the Build Genius ride watch, the Build Genius form ride watch, I will say this is a nice start to the Ultimate Form ride watches, obviously because Build at this point where it was released was the previous writer, so obviously doing things for him wouldn't be that difficult. I do think it's a really neat ride watch. I do like its jingle and such. Its colors are pretty neat. I don't really have much to say for it. Wow. But I'll address this because I forgot to. Basically, the genius that's used in the transformation is just they didn't use the one from the actual transformation, or they didn't use both voices. They only used the voice from the build driver itself. They didn't use the voice from the Slash driver, which is pretty interesting. Like, I understand why, but I guess they really just didn't want the two voices. But technically, this toy is the only one where we actually just hear the build driver only say genius. Anyways, this review is too long because I keep treating this as I'm gonna like treat these as like different, quote unquote different, even though they're not. So this is PowerRider, and I'll leave you people. Bye.